click on go live just so that because it's 5 minutes to the hour. Jundo's finally received the new microphone, so it's going to be crisp and pristine sound today.
Probably.
No, it's
Crisp
good.
and pristine Japanese magpies. All of us.
Yeah.
Hi, Ansho. What is happening right now? Tiger, what are you doing here? It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, it's midnight.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's midnight. Wonderful to see you, my friend. Shiraku-san.
Get him, Ian.
Yeah, we don't put it on together here for this one, so oh, it's so good to see you. It feels like, Sunday morning, except we're all tired. Ancho, are you safe from the snowpocalypse?
I am definitely safe from it. Yeah, I'm poor
What is
Bill.
what is happening with your sound? My Buddha. You're like the angel of the apocalypse.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Good. I have a very testy microphone. It's pretty good. Yep. Snow is good. I do plowing for grooming for a cross-country ski club. So I was out on a snowmobile getting stuck and running things over all day. It's lots of fun. Yep. Takes an impressive amount of snow to get an ultra-wide track, grooming specific snowmobile stuck.
I understood 5 words of what you just said. We don't get snow here. We get a lot of rain. Okay. It's been raining so much over here. I saw a map of the country the other day. They were showing how much of it is, I guess, wet. And it was something like 98% everything was green everywhere. It's like the soil is like 100% hydration at this point everywhere.
Is it still like 30 degrees there?
No, it's been very cold this whole winter.
Good.
Very cold. Like -4, -5, -3. Very cold.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mm.
Sweatshirt weather.
It wasn't nice. It was cold.
Well, I guess if it's raining and everything, then yeah. Yeah, I'll take -10 in snow over +5 in rain any day.
Yeah. Hi, Jim. Hi, Tensei. Oh, look at that. Hi, Dachi. Always nice to see you. Escaping the children on a Friday evening must have been quite an adventure, right?
My wife may join us later and escape as well.
Oh, we should put this on the website, on the Chili website. We help parents get away.
Has Jindo received his new microphone?
He has. We have pristine sound.
Nice.
Yes. We'll see. We'll see how this goes because it's got to be clipped onto his whole being, like right here. Greetings.
Ah,
Hi, Mike. Hi, Sonia.
yeah. Jeez.
Oh, look, it's midnight over here. That means I pushed a couple of mute buttons on you folks. Those of you that have been muted, have been muted. Shu, you want to give me a bell or something? Are you good with the bells?
We'll give it a shot. A little sound check.
Perfect.
All right, wonderful.
Please picture Judo rushing towards Zendo in full robes.
everyone. Can you hear? That's because we have this new fangled microphone. After about a dozen years, our old microphone here, well, has met its retirement age. We often have a ceremony here each year where we thank the equipment that makes it possible. This is an old Japanese tradition where in Buddhist temples, the priests will bless old tools for farmers and old needles for seamstresses, and even old statues and old sutra books that have worn out. So this is our version. So I'm going to thank our microphone, and I'm going to place it on the altar today. Better unplug it then. Now I'm all jumbled up here. There we go. Lovely. Now let's see. What do I do with this? Bjorn, I don't clip it on the kesa. I have to clip it on my
No,
corona.
clip it on the kesa, on the fold of the kesa here on the front.
I don't want to clip it on my kesa. I'll clip it on the robe or something.
It's gonna rub against your neck and it's gonna be super loud.
I'll just hold it today. I'll figure it out later. Can you still hear?
Yeah.
Okay. Our subject today is 10 mysterious talks, but I guarantee you it's not anything spooky. There are 10 talks of deep profundity given by an old Soto master. We'll talk about that later. It's a text that has at one time been very popular, very respected is a better word in Soto Zen, and then was forgotten for a time and rediscovered by some teachers recently. So we'll be reflecting on that. Our town here in Scuba is kind of in a panic because we're expecting snow. I think the forecast was 1 to 2 centimeters. For Americans who don't know the metric system, that's like over my head. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. But really, it freezes. Our town is in a panic because we don't know what to do. All right. Who is my Ino today?
It is Shujin.
Oh, we're in excellent hands. Very good. If you've been here before, you know what to do. And if it's your first time, just follow along. Okay. Let me... moment. I was explaining to Bjorn that my back is very bad this year, and when I get down on the ground, I have to push up on a chair to stand up. So our Sangha is for people who have various, shall we say, physical restrictions, and this is my contribution. So here we've mastered the standing prostration. And that's what I do today, and I do it in support of all my brothers and sisters out there who have to adapt our traditional practices because of their physical needs. This is my physical need.
Hanya Haramita Shingyo Kanji Zai Bosatsu Gyojin Hanya Haramita Chishoken Gon Kaiku Doi Sai Uyaku Sharishi Shiki Fui Kuku Fui Shiki Shiki Sokuze Kuku Sokuze Shiki Shiki Ju Sogyo Shiki Yaku Budyo Ze Sharishi Ze Shohoku Sofu Shofu Mitsu Fuko Fujo Fuzo Fugen Eikoku Chu Mushiki Buju Sogyo Shiki Mugen Nibi Ze Shinni Mushiki Sho Komi Sokuho Mugen Kai Nai Shi Mui Shiki Kai Mu Myo Yaku Mu Myo Jin Nai Shi Muroshi Yaku Muroshi Jin Mukushu Yatsudo Muchi Yaku Mutoku Imu Shotoko Bodai Sata E Hanya Haramitako Chun Mukege Mukege Mukufu Onri Saitin Omuso Kugyo Ne Hansan Zoe Shobutsue Hanya Haramita Oku Anoku Tara Sanyaku Sanbodai Kochi Hanya Haramita Zeidai Shinshu Zeidai Moshu Zemujoshu Zemutodoshu Nojoi Saiku Shinjitsu Fuko Setsu Hanya Haramita Shu Soku Setsu Shu Watsu Gyate Gyate Para Gyate Para So Gyate Holy Soaka Hanya Shingyo. The identity of relative and absolute. The mind of the great sage of India is intimately conveyed west and east, while human faculties are both wise or dull. In the way there are no northern or southern ancestors. The subtle source shines clear in the light. The branching streams flow in the dark. To be attached to things is primordial illusion. To encounter the absolute is not yet enlightenment. All spheres, every sense and field, intermingle even as they shine alone, interacting even as they merge, yet keeping their places and expressions of their own. Sights differ primarily in shape and character, and sounds in harsher, soothing tones. The dark makes all words one. The brightness distinguishes good and bad phrases. The four elements return to their true nature, as a child returns to its mother. Fire is hot, water is wet, wind moves and the earth is dense. Eye and form, ear and sound, nose and smell, tongue and taste, the sweet and sour, each independent of the other, like leaves that come from the same root. And though leaves and root must go back to the source, both root and leaves have their own uses. Light is also darkness, but do not think of it as darkness. Darkness is light, do not see it as light. Light and darkness are not one, not two, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. Each thing has its own being, which does not differ from its place and function. The relative fits the absolute as a box in its lid. The absolute meets the relative, like two arrow points that touch in midair. Hearing this, simply perceive what is, make no criteria. If you do not see the way, you do not see it even as you walk upon it. Walking forward in the way, you draw no nearer, progress no further. One who fails to see this truth is mountains and rivers away. Listen, those who would perceive the subtle matter. Live well your time by night and day. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here and now. In reciting the heart of the perfection of Great Wisdom Sutra and the identity of relative and absolute, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha, Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, and to those ancestral teachers, Eihei Dogen, Honored One, Soji Keizan, Honored One, all successive Honored Ones up until Zuigaku Rempo, Honored One, and Gudo Wafu, Honored One, and to all other Honored Ones throughout history, same yet diverse Honored Ones whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. We also dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to all awakened ones and teachers in all places and times. We especially seek tranquility and well-being for all creatures now suffering or ill in health. May they be serene through all their ills. May their lives be at peace and wisdom pervade the darkness of ignorance. We dedicate our efforts, our hopes and aspirations to all victims of war and violence and natural events, to the injured and to all families touched by these tragedies, to the healing of hatred in all countries and among all peoples, to the wisdom and compassion of our world leaders, to the peace of the world and harmony of all beings. Thus let the harmful effects of words, thoughts, and actions be dispelled, and compassion bloom in perpetual spring. May we all realize and live the enlightened way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time. All Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Prajna, Paramita.
Zazen? Kinhin? Zazen? Can you all hear the bell okay when the microphone's on the other side of the room? Okay.
hip.
We will have a talk. For the talk, you can sit zazen or have some tea or just sit and listen quietly. That's fine, or a little of everything. Try to stay awake. I once fell asleep in the middle of a talk. I was not feeling so well. I think, if I recall, was it Bjorn said, Jundo, Jundo, somebody, and woke me up right in the middle of my own talk, put me to sleep. I'll try not to do that today. We have the new microphone. Can you hear okay? Oh, good. Very good. Well, let's begin with the verse to open the sutras.
The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered but rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered but rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered but rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Lovely. This is the time of year where I think every year I thank Shonen. I think Shonen sent me this hat, and I think Shonen every year tells me, no, it was not you who sent me the hat, but someone years ago. This is the time of year I get use of this hat, and in our little zendo here, where it's a Japanese paper house, and you can literally see through the walls at places to see outside. It comes in very handy. Everything okay, Bjorn? You look concerned about something.
I'm not concerned. It's you've got the new microphone and it's wireless and you've got it somewhere and every time you like move or do something you cover it. So you really are Jundo. You're really better off doing this.
We're going to keep it on the desk. Is that okay?
You can clip it right up here and it's going to be perfect. You can move any way you want.
No. It's okay. When you get to be my age, I don't want you to hear all my little burps and belches and sneezes. Okay. Is it okay here? Is it
That's
all right?
perfect. Yeah, that's
Okay.
perfect.
Very good. Well, we're going to have a very special series now. Very, how to say, very fortunate to have run across this particular set of writings that apparently was something cherished in Soto Zen for centuries. And then, with music and other literary styles, sometimes what was once cherished is forgotten. But several teachers, especially a Soto teacher named Seke Harada, who wrote a book on this, kind of rediscovered this piece. And it is truly lovely. I say this piece, but it's actually 10 pieces that appear to be a set. And according to Seke Harada, and I find the same thing, the first 5 seem to be about Soto Zen practice in general. And we will find in there, or Soto Zen, how to say, visions or teachings in general. And the second half is more about practice, which is really inseparable. And I agree. I think what we're doing now, 1,000 years later, is very much to be found in what we will be reading over the coming really months. I'm going to take 1 or 2 every month because they're too rich. And you will find that shikantaza and all our practices just right here in what this teacher was talking about in ancient China so long ago. Who is the teacher? Well, that's the thing. He was a Soto teacher, not in the direct lineage to which I belong, but how to say, going back to the 10th century, he was a cousin. He jumped over one. So my great-great-great-great-grandpa's brother's kid, something like that. Okay? His name was Tong An Chang Cha in Chinese. Pardon my terrible Chinese pronunciation. And these verses are sometimes rendered. Oh, I have a little sniffles. I'll be right back. Sorry. This is why I didn't want to put the microphone on. One second. I get a couple tissues. I'm good. Where was I? This is the 10 mysterious talks. Mysterious. And this sounds very scary. Maybe it's Sherlock Holmes kind of mystery. Or maybe it's the mystery of the haunted house, something like that. But in this case, it's more like, I think the Christians speak about the mysterium, the great, how to say, that which we cannot clearly define, but we know so profoundly. That is something that tells us what's going on in this reality. That's why Seke Harada translated this word myo as he's called it the 10 verses of unfathomable depths. Unfathomable depths. That means it's a depth so deep it's beyond measure, like that. And as Master Dogen would say, and we'll see, it's a depth so unfathomable that it's the smallest thing and the biggest thing in the universe. It applies to every atom and every galaxy and what's ever beyond that. Because you're going to see this is really a work of a kind of metaphysics. What is going on? What's actually this universe, this reality, this cosmos about? And some people say, well, Buddhism really shouldn't talk about that. We're just right in the moment and what's right before our eyes. And the old Buddha in India, in the Southern Asian tradition, he really avoided all these subjects about what's going on. What is this reality really about? And I have to say that's not true. That's a great misunderstanding. And let me explain why. What we're going to be talking about today is very much found in the original expressions of the Buddha's teachings, with some differences of expression. People say, for example, the Buddha was asked, did the universe have a beginning or did not have a beginning? Was it eternal? And he refused to answer. Now, some people say, well, he refused to answer because he didn't know. Or he refused to answer because it was not important to his main focus, which was just human psychology. And he was trying to end our psychological suffering. Or he was just a skeptic and he knew his place, his little mission, and he didn't want to deal with these other big questions. And I don't think that that's quite true. I think it was more like the Zen expression of there's a certain something that the question is wrong. Does the universe have a beginning? Does the universe not have a beginning? Shh, here it is, like that. Or when you speak of beginning or doesn't have a beginning, you miss the true meaning of timeless. Timeless and eternal is not the same. So the Buddha in the earliest texts did in certain sections speak of the unborn, the undying, What were some of the others? I forget. There's a whole list. I'll post it later. My mind is, but it was the neti neti. He said it by saying what it's not. It's not this. It's not that. Not implying that there's nothing, but that it's not something that can be expressed with those words. Not this, not that. It's a little bit like this. If you're standing in a river and you don't know quite, was the river always here? Where does the river come from? Where is the river going over the horizon? We go, shh, here is the river, plus you're the river. So in that sense, it's a metaphysical statement that avoids certain questions as maybe the wrong question. That is the mystery that's here. And why is this important? Maybe some folks say, well, I didn't come to my Buddhist practice for this. I don't want to hear some strange cosmic theory about what's the universe about. I want to end my suffering. And I'm here to tell you that for Zen masters and other Buddhists 1,000 years ago or today, this is the way to end your suffering. Why? Little spoiler, because when you realize you are the river, how can you drown? We fight the river. We try to say, oh, the river, I want to go this way on the river, and the river's pushing me in currents over here, and I'm heading to the rocks, and these rocks are ugly. And you're fighting the river. Sometimes you're going with it, sometimes everything works out and you're swimming very nicely. But when you realize you are the river, how can you drown? How can you not go the way it's to go? This was the basic teaching of these old teachers. And this is what the 10 Mysteries touches on very much. So the first one is called the mind seal. The mind seal. And this is not the seal like you see, in the aquarium. The one you feed me a fish. No, not that one. This is the seal that they still use here in Japan and China too, which is when you get an official document, you get a little stamp and it has your name carved in it, and you put ink and you stamp the document, and then it's official. It's the verification. It's something like we say in the West, a signature, in that it verifies, it's proof. It's proof of your mind there when you stamp it. But this seal, this mind seal, is a big seal. Now, I want to tell you that seals in Japan are still very important, and they have different grades of this. For example, you have a very common seal that you can go literally to the drugstore, and for $1, if your name is common, like Suzuki or Yamaguchi or something, you can just buy one, and it's a little plastic thing, and you have it, and you stamp it. It's basically just a quick signature. But you have a registered seal, which you register with City Hall, and the carving is recorded at City Hall to make sure that no one can forge it, And this is your official seal that you need for the big documents, So when these old Chinese were talking about this, they meant this in seal that stamps the universe and verifies the universe and makes the universe real and gives the universe legal effect, like that. And it's the mind seal. Let's read the first line. I ask you, what does the mind seal look like? Already we have a problem here, and I bet you our old Zen hands here can guess what the problem is. What's the problem with this sentence? It's a quiz. What does the mind seal look like? You're already making it something to look at. Something over there. Like right now I'm looking at Rudo, and I'm looking at Jim and Onsho. You're over there. What does it look like? also limits it to appearance. Is it blue? Is it brown? Is it square or round? Is it big or small? The Zen guy would say, little, yes. Get it? Yes, it's brown and blue and everything else you can think of, because all the names and categories are in this. Going back to the Indian Buddha, this is what I said. When the Indian Buddha said there's no separate self, people somehow thought it was just a psychological thing. If you get rid of your separate self, no problem. But that doesn't mean that there was not something to find, which is kind of like the greater or true self. Now, the Buddha was not a nihilist. Nihilist means that when you take away the little self, there's nothing, you're done, it's just pointless, and nothing's left. He was not a nihilist. Neither was he an eternalist. This is very important. He was not an eternalist that said you discover yourself is timeless, that you are some Godhead like that. If you ask me, he was closer to eternalism than he was to nihilism, but the fine distinctions he makes, like we said, he didn't ask about what the river is. He said, you're the river and the river's here. So here, let me express it this way. We're not nihilists because we say, oh, if we drown, the river disappears and everything's pointless. No, something's still there. The river flows on and on. But neither are we eternalists. The river flows for all time. The river had no beginning and has no end. Well, yes, sometimes we're very close to that, but we should avoid that too. The river flows timelessly, and we are the river. So the second question here, and what sort of person dares to transmit it? The mind seal is said to be transmitted from teacher to student when the student becomes a teacher. Because this word mind seal, like many things, has a meaning that has many faces. And let me explain. First off, what is mind? Our conceptions of mind, especially for these old Zen fellows, is very similar to what is known as Yogacara Buddhism. Yogacara Buddhism kind of says there's something about this reality that is a greater mind, and we are expressions, embodiments, manifestations of this greater mind that feels as separate beings. This is the cause of our suffering and our separation. And when we can drop the separation and realize the wholeness, we kind of realize our other face, that we are the river, and we're free of the suffering that comes with being a separate being. Caution about this word mind, however. What is the mind here of the mind seal? Well, first off, it's your mind and my mind. And it's my cat's mind. And it's the ant's mind. And it may be even the tree outside and the rocks in the mountains. Which sounds like I'm speaking about some kind of consciousness that is embodied in us. We have to be very cautious about this. This week I was very fortunate to be accepted my new book for publication by a publishing house that is sponsored and by a Dutch philosopher named Bernardo Kastrup, and he is an idealist. And their teachings are kind of close to many Eastern teachings. And it's very simple. And I have a couple of scientists here. I have to be very cautious, okay? The current scientific understanding is this, or the current widely accepted scientific understanding is this. First, you had matter. Matter somehow became molecules, which became a human brain. That human brain produces consciousness. End of story. The idea, and by the way, that's a great mystery because nobody can quite understand how that happened. We understand how the brain works. We can put it in a MRI machine, but still nobody has a sense of how you get your first person experience of being you from matter. Okay? And it could be. It could be. I'm not like saying that's wrong. I'm just saying there's another possibility, which is what the Buddhists and the Hindus and the idealists have long said. It's the other way around. There is something that is more like consciousness that somehow became the atoms and the bodies and the brains that splits it up into pieces. I like to say it's like being in the carnival fun house. You look in all the mirrors and you see all these other people in the carnival fun house, but really it's all you in other guys. And by the way, I don't want to get distracted here with solipsism. When I say it's all you, I don't mean the whole universe is Taikyo. Yeah, actually I do mean that, but the whole universe is also Seikan and Tenru. It's not just you, but it's something that's split up into all these different manifestations. The way to bring it down is, you are Taikyo, you are the mountains. Taikyo, the galaxies are just Taikyo. The worms are just Taikyo. But that means also that Taikyo is just a worm. You know, that's how it works. Okay. Okay, that's the first caution. The other caution about this thing is, it's not what you think of like your mind just bigger. It's going to be very different. This is very important. The best example I can give you this, my cat looks at me every morning and she's got a little brain, and I don't really think she understands what I'm about. She certainly can't understand why these people make all these funny noises in my house at each other, and things happen and people go out to the garage and they get in the car and they come back and he doesn't even know what a car is. It's all very weird, but the cat knows something's going on and cannot begin to fathom my brain, because my brain is more complicated. So whatever I'm talking about here is like not just you, the cat, trying to figure out a person. It's more like, I like to say, a ladybug trying to figure out a computer bug. It's going to be very, very different. That's the first thing. Okay? So don't think of it as just, this is the thing, this is also what the Buddha was saying about God. You think, oh, he's just a guy in the sky sitting on a throne, just like us. He's just up there. That's what we try to avoid. It's more a nameless something that we know is more like a process or a dance, something. And the thing is, the cat trusts me. The cat every morning looks at me and trusts me that I pet the cat. I'm not going to harm the cat after years. I feed the cat. The cat has sometimes I step on its tail. Okay. Sometimes I accidentally kick the cat. Sometimes I chase him off the bed, whatever I do. So it's not a perfect harmonious relationship, but basically the cat trusts me. That's kind of our relationship to the universe here. Okay. It's, we don't quite know what's going on, but we kind of trust it. Okay. The other thing is about this mind seal. It literally means everything. Your mind is not just what's going on between your ears. The Big Bang and all the atoms that came to be your body, and the tree you see outside that sends out photons that are processed in your brain that say, oh, that's an apple tree. You put a name on it and you reach out and you grab an apple. Okay? We think, but the mind is just the part between the ears. The tree is out there. The Big Bang was that other thing. The sun in the sky is separate over there. The mind is just what the brain is doing. This mind what the Buddhists tend to talk about would be, it's the whole thing. The tree is you. We have a biologist here. The whole ecosystem is you. You are the whole ecosystem. And I don't mean you're just part of the ecosystem. You are the whole ecosystem manifest as you. You're the whole thing. Well, this whole thing is the mind we're talking about. Some people, when they practice enough, can get a sense of this. The teacher of Zen, meditating for many years, studying these crazy teachings, gets a sense of this. And that sense is the mind seal embodied in the teacher. And when the teacher gives Dharma transmission to his student, who hopefully, not always, but hopefully has some sense of this. I'm not looking at anybody, Bjorn. I didn't mean you. Okay. Bjorn's in the process of getting Dharma transmission. I think it's an open secret here. But in any event, when the student understands, the mind seal stamps the mind seal like that. Okay, so you have the mind seal is the great whole cosmos is the mind seal. It's embodied in the teacher and the student is the mind seal. There's actually another Japanese term. I just came across this a couple of weeks ago. I'm a legal translator, and I learned a new term. It's the ketsahan, which is when you stamp on 2 pages at once to show that the 2 pages are related and no one's sneaking in a page. Okay? Well, this stamp literally stamps everything in the universe and the teacher and the student to make sure that they're joined as one. Like they all get half the stamp like that, but it's one stamp. Okay, anyway. Throughout the ages, it has remained firm and unshaken. This is that timeless aspect. Okay? But now here's the thing though. Where I'm trying to describe something to you and I'm making a mess of it. It's like I was a cat trying to explain to another cat what a people is. It's not going to work, guys. Okay, I'm doing the best I can with some models of river and the ecosystem and the stamp. Okay, I'm doing the best I can. This is why I get the big bucks. Okay, but it's not going to work. So the next sentence says, but as soon as you call something the mind seal, it's already meaningless. Okay? As Katagiri Roshi said, you have to say something, but once you say it, you're doing an injustice to it, like that. Okay? So, he's talking about mind and whatever it is. Okay? Again, the early Buddha did speak of this. I just want to emphasize that again before I move on. Karma and I like to call it the 12 steps of dependent origination. The Buddha in the earliest teachings had some sense that there is some organizational principle, something is afoot. Okay? There is something natural or endemic is a better word maybe to reality that has your causational stream, and you were born and you live, and if you do good things you get reborn in a good way. That's a system the Buddha said is as real as the law of gravity to the universe, whether you agree with his interpretation there or not. And then he spoke about dependent origination, which is a process basically of how the mind takes this whole stream and cuts it into pieces. It starts off as chaos, and the mind cuts the world into pieces, most specifically me or your me and everything that's not your me. Okay? Tensei and everything not tensei, that's the whole universe. There's only 2 things in the whole universe, tensei and everything else. Okay? In her brain. That's what I'm saying. Okay? And our practice is to reverse that process. And the hard borders between tensei and not tensei drop away. What then? The result, by the way, another way to look at this mental might be, you remember magnetic tape or reel-to-reel tape or cassette tape? Okay? Comes out of the factory, and it's just, how to say, pristine. the Yogacara philosophers thought the universe starts off as this pristine something, and then the whole universe gets recorded on there. You can put anyone's voice, you can put all kinds of music, you can even put images after a while, right? Because it holds everything. This mind holds everything like that. Okay? And part of our practice is to realize this pristine. So that's why the next sentence says, you must know that in essence, all things originate from infinite emptiness. This emptiness is the lack of separate self-identity. Look around the room. I'm looking right now. What do I see? I see Seikon and the little picture on the wall behind Seikon. There's Shinkon over there. There's Bion and his glasses. And there's, I don't know what the heck that is behind Shujin. It looks like a shark's jaw. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, then you got my drum over my shoulder. Okay, what do? Your brain, very successful, evolved to divide the world into pieces. Maybe the ants and the amoeba don't do that as much as we do. The amoeba may not think like we do. Oh, I'm the amoeba and everything is not me. Okay. But there is already the inception there of creating a separate self. And what happened is the cat and then us more and more progressed, and we got very good and very sophisticated of creating a world between the ears of separate things. And I'm not going to tell you they're not there or they're not an illusion. People misunderstand that. Chris Bathke's there is his, I think that's his fireplace, and there's the picture over Shinkon's shoulder. It's there, but it's also not, because when we drop all the names and separate identities and realize the magnetic tape, the wholeness, that's true too. So all the things originate from the infinite emptiness. Let me see this word, infinite. Where is it? I'm glad I have the Chinese here. I can check some of this. I don't think the word infinite is there. It's more like mysterious emptiness again. Okay? Again, that word infinite. Timeless, the timeless emptiness. It comes from the river. All the separate things that appear are the river. Okay? Now, you can compare it to a lotus flower in a red hot kiln. I like this because this is practical and tells you how to get by in this world today. You remember that Billy Joel song? I never really cared for it, to be honest, but you cannot stop the fire. It is always I promised Bion I wouldn't sing. I'm sorry, Bion. That's part of the suffering in this world you have to put up with. But we didn't start the fire, right? And then he lists all the things of the last 50 years. The song's already 20 years old, but all the things, the Cuban Missile Crisis and measles and polio and all this stuff. The world has always been crazy. Well, let me tell you something. The world was even crazier in the age of Tong'an Changcha. And this is important. And it made a big change on Buddhism, by the way. Guess what you had in Chongcha's day? You had wars. Oh, we got those. What's the difference? Well, in those days, your son got called in the army, and the soldiers came every once in a while and ate all your crops. Okay? Now, it hasn't gotten much better. Okay? Ask the people in Gaza, for example. By the way, I'm no fan of that, believe me. I'm not going to get political here, but that's makes me cry every day. All right? Now we have bombs and drones. Okay? And then they had spears and knives, and swords, but it's the same thing. Today we have COVID. I may have a touch. I'm just a little suspicious right now. Then you would die from a cold. Today we have crooked politicians. Then you had kings and despots who would toss you in the dungeon, literally. You talk about troops in the streets. Yeah, they were called the samurai or the king's soldiers. LGBTQ rights, some ways it might have been better back then, okay? But you didn't stick out in society. You acted just like everybody else, or you were banished from society or worse, for whatever reason. Women, don't even get started. What is your opinion about it? You didn't have an opinion. You are not allowed to have an opinion. Shut up, like that, okay? All right, where else am I going to keep going here? You get my point? The fire has always been burning. The Buddhists in the past said, there's nothing we can do about it. So the two solutions are, get out of this world. Some Buddhists said that. Realize the wholeness and get enlightened and get out of this world. This world is too unpleasant. Don't get born here anymore. Or just go in the monastery and shut the doors. Now, for the first time, we can do something to make, not only is this world a little better than it was, still not good, don't get me wrong, but we can make this world better and we can help tend the fire. We are the lotus flowers in the red kiln, and that means we realize the peace and wholeness and unchanging, even at the center of being amidst the fire. You remember last week's talk? Does anybody remember my last week's talk? Even I don't remember my last week's talk. But it was something about we're just this amid all the chaos. Okay? This is the lotus flower in the mud. Not only in the mud, usually the lotus flower rises from the mud. Untouched, we say, from the mud. This is a lotus flower that is thriving in the middle of a furnace. That's our practice. And it comes when we realize the river, the mind seal. Okay, so I'm going to get to the end here. But this is where people make another mistake that Soto Zen is very good in reminding you. Don't say that a free and empty mind is the way. Huh? I thought that's why we're here. To realize the true mind seal, the emptiness, the wholeness. A free and empty mind is still separated from it by a great barrier. Huh? So what are we doing here? Dachi, it looks like you got a little cold too, huh? Okay. Our practice for most of the Zen masters was not to get to the place of wholeness. Thought I heard something. Not to get to the place of wholeness and stay there. It's to realize that the fire is the lotus. The lotus is the fire. The rocks and the white water is the river, as is the calm places. But once you're the river, you don't care about white water. You don't care about calm. But we realize the white water and the rocks are the river too. The storm is the sky, like that. If you stop at the wholeness, if you stop at just realizing that, how to say, great principle beyond all separation that I talked about, you're missing a good part of the picture, which is, don't forget that this chaos is the wisdom too. Anyway, I did a terrible injustice to that, I'm sure. But we got 9 more mysterious talks to come up. In the meantime, any questions? Complaints? I just got my money back from Amazon for something, so we're like that here. If you have a complaint, you get your money back. Really? Nothing? Comment? Oh, on show. I knew I could count on you. There you go.
So you mentioned Yogacara, Hinduism, idealism, and the word that came to mind that I've heard in just other Dharma talks and everything before was just universal consciousness. And is that kind of the theme of Yogacara and like the early roots of Mahayana? I was wondering if you could expand on that a bit.
That's the thing, and I think some of the mistake that people make, they think it's a universal consciousness, and that's why I was trying to say that may be like us, the cat trying to understand us, or even worse, a ladybug trying to. It may be so different from our little experience of it that, like the cat looking at me, that guy's crazy. I don't know what the hell he's going on, but I trust this. I think that's closer to our practice. So this term universal consciousness, I think the Buddhists tried to get away from that. That's exactly what we said, that we don't want to talk about some universal consciousness, because that is, like he said, the minute you put an idea on it or a name like Mind Seal, you're already making it too small and misleading. Okay? But I will give you another example. You're the great window cleaner. That's what you do for a living, right? And you might think okay, so the dirt on the window is bad. And it is. So you try to get the dirt off the window. But for the Buddhists, we realize the dirt is the window is the dirt. If you didn't have dirt on the glass, it wouldn't be glass. And if you didn't have glass, you wouldn't have a place for the dirt to alight. Nonetheless, as the sixth ancestor said, wipe, wipe, wipe. Okay? Because you don't want too much dirt. But remember, the dirt is not the enemy of the window. The dirt is the window is the dirt. See, see what I do? I just, with all these analogies, you just make it worse. Anyway, did that answer your question or confuse you more?
Yeah, that gestured in the direction of whatever it's supposed to be that language falls short of explaining.
Okay, I hope it was a friendly gesture.
It was.
Anyone else? So we have a couple of minutes. Shinkon.
Junda, what was it you mentioned in the beginning about theological, that you made a reference? And
To what?
it was a theological reference in the beginning, and
The Mysterian?
yeah,
Okay. When the Buddhism was being translated to China, they took a lot of words from Taoism.
right.
Okay. One was Myo. Myo is the great mystery, the great depthless depth, like he's saying here. And it's kind of close to the Christians use the Mysterian, the great mystery of the Holy Ghost, whatever it is. That part we can't define.
Perichoresis is what the
Yeah, it's something like that. Now, I often caution here, people say, oh, this is where Zen is just Taoism. No, the Buddhist interpretation was quite different from the Taoist interpretation. There were some parallels. It's closer to the Yogacara interpretation, but it's the great mysterious in the sense that once you try to define it or put a label on it or an idea, I say, once you try to put it as an idea to hold in the stupid box between your ears, you're not going to get it. It's literally vast, too vast to hold between your ears like that. Okay.
I encountered a similar type of explanation that Gregory of Nyssa, the reason why they had to say God appeared as the burning bush is because no one could comprehend how the divine could communicate to a human being in this reality, and it just related
Very
quite,
good.
to that.
Frankly, I think what happened was that Moses actually was catching a quick cigarette. He accidentally set the bush on fire. He had to come up with an excuse. That's my theory. But that's
Yeah, and I would go with that because I don't practice that anymore. But but I'm writing that chapter for the book. But I totally understand why they came up with that explanation, because they couldn't explain them themselves, so they came up with the basically the language of the mystic for the
Beyond is going through the Lotus Sutra now. That's exactly what that is. People just coming up with these stories to try to express something that's really hard to express. Okay?
And it's an interesting thing to try to write about, to use those terminologies and then write about something like I'm writing about billions in succession for a book, and it's I don't know. I think it's hogwash right now.
Talk about all those shows about people who make problems between their
Yeah,
ears.
yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
But yeah,
Anyone else before we close out for today? Bjorn? Yeah.
Yeah, you brought up something that I've always been kind of a fan of, which is the Buddha's refusal to respond to certain questions.
Uh-huh.
And I think, especially within Soto Zen, there was, or even Chan, there was kind of a returning to that particular attitude, which is stop
Yes.
asking the stupid questions that are going to lead you to non-stop thinking. And looking before that to the first centuries after the Buddha, with the whole development of the Abhidharma and people that needed to invent realities upon realities to explain things that the Buddha specifically said during his lifetime, stop asking those questions.
They were overly analytical and they made philosophies. And the idealists too, and Bernardo Castro, the guy who's publishing my book, it's not like I'm a big fan, but he says it has to be experienced more than rationalized sometimes.
So
Yes.
it makes so much sense to see how you went from that to, you know, what is the essence of this glass? Moo.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
like philosophizing about what is the river, what is riverness, what is wetness. No, get
get
in the
wet.
river and get wet. There you go. Okay, like that. Okay, I got a cramp in my foot. You see, when you're old, all these things happen. Okay, and anyone else before we close out for today? Taikyo, the universe. Taikyo, the universe and the worm. Yes.
I will try to ask the question. I'm not sure that it will be proper. Uh, what is the right way to know the emptiness or to experience this emptiness?
Oh, Zazen, that's what we're doing here. You may have noticed. And then, not only that, the last two sentences here. Whatever you discover in Zazen, then get back to the world with all your chaos and realize it's the same thing. There's your answer. That's what we do. We just spend years doing it. Okay? Sit here, Zazen, realize the riverness, the blank tape, whatever you want to call it. You know, simplify the mind, realize the wholeness, okay? Then get up and get back into the chaos and realize they were never separate and they're not two. There's our practice right there. And don't make a muck of it. Don't make a mess of it while you're at it. Okay? Like that. Okay? Did I just summarize Zen in like one sentence? I succeeded. Good. Okay. Seika, do you have a yoga posture ready for us today? Wait a second. We got to do the chant to close. And then we're going to do a quick 1 minute yoga with Seikan. Think of something, a stretch. Go ahead, Shu.
May the merits of these teachings penetrate into each thing in all places, so that we and every sentient being together may realize the Buddha way. All Buddhas throughout space and time. All Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha Prajna Paramita.
Okay. Now we're going to have just a quick stretch here, Seikan something, and with a reminder to all the folks like me, don't do anything that's going to hurt.
I was going to say, considering everyone's in a different place, some people are wearing robes, which makes this
Yeah.
tricky. Some people aren't. I was going to just cheat and say, listen to your body for half a second and just move the way your body wants to move right now. That could
Okay.
be stretching tall. It could be twisting. But yes, don't hurt yourself.
Okay. Okay, enough of that. Time to sit. Ready? Realize your riverness, your clear window, whatever you want to call it, the mind seal. We will now recite the metta verses. You can listen or recite along. Today we will recite for sentient beings who are suffering in silence, something, a secret, a problem that they cannot even share with those around them. I don't know if you have such a silent suffering, but if so, we'll begin with ourselves. May I be free of suffering. May I feel safe and still. Really visualize this, feel this. May I be free of enmity. Enmity means hate. May I be loving, grateful, and kind. May I be healthy, and because I'm not always, at ease in all my ills. May I be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Next, for a loved one, someone in your family who may be suffering with something that even you don't know about. May they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still. May they be free of enmity. May they be loving, grateful for all of it, even the hard parts, and kind. May they be healthy and at ease in all their ills. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Now, for a friend who may be suffering silently, may they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still. May they be free of enmity. May they be loving, grateful, and kind. May they be healthy, and when not, at ease in all their ills. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Now, for a stranger, someone you barely know, who may have their secret that they cannot share. Okay, I have someone. May they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still. May they be free of enmity. May they be loving, grateful, and kind. May they be healthy and at ease in all their ills. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Next is for the difficult person, someone who may do harm in your life or in the world. And I always remind folks, we chant this with the idea that if they knew peace, if they were healthy in body and mind, if they were content, they would not act so. And if not them, other people like them would not act so. May they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still. May they be free of enmity. Oh boy. May they be loving, grateful, and kind. May they be healthy and at ease in all their ills. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. And now for all sentient beings everywhere, I often say I'm not limiting it just to this planet. So everywhere, okay? May we be free of suffering. May we feel safe and still. May we be free of enmity, especially those space aliens heading this way, I like to say. May we be loving, grateful, and kind. May we be healthy and at ease in all our ills. May we be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Please continue sitting. We will now recite the verse of atonement and the 4 vows.
All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, but reality is boundless. To attain the enlightened way, a way not attainable.
All right, lovely, lovely. I got a koan. We're going to call it the Onsho koan. I got this, right? If the window is too pure, the window vanishes, as does the whole world. Okay, just rest with that. All right, for the rest of you, get on with life. Don't make a muck of it. Okay, don't screw it up. That's my advice to you this week. All right, we'll see you guys. Lovely sitting with you. See you guys around the homestead. See you guys later. Love you guys. Bye-bye. See you, Chris. Jim, bye.